been 7 hours since we started this trip, and for about 6 of that hours we've been lost in the mountains.
¿Por allá vamos?
We arrived to Alegria, El Salvador for one main reason, and that's to trek to the Laguna de Alegria, a sulfur crater lake just outside of town. We asked our hostel if we can have a guide for the next morning. There are two options for this trek. One is a casual 30-minute walk to the beach's edge. Another is to hike to the top of the crater and then down through the forest to the lake. This is the more difficult trek, but still should only be about an hour and a half. So the next morning we set out. 15 minutes it takes us to get to the top of the crater. As you can see, we have wonderful views when we get there, and enough to motivate us to just go another hour to the bottom. Well, we begin our descent, and that's where things go very wrong.
Our feet are right here. Pretty bad. So, for the past 20 minutes, we've been off course. The guide said the trail was covered up, and we're not on a trail anymore. So we've been walking on all fours for about the past 20 minutes, slipping, falling. There is no trail at this point. It's all soft soil, so you collapse, you fall on your belly a few feet, you try to grab onto some branches, then you find out the branches are dead and they just break off in your hand. And he told us there's poisonous snakes. So, we're trying to keep a positive attitude here. He almost killed me. That rock is still going. That's the endless cliff behind us. So it looked pretty good, like we're back on the trail again. Then we asked him, is this the trail? Did we find it? And he said, his exact answer is, it's one of the trails. We've been going up and down about 30 meters. Down 30 meters, up 30 meters. As we scroll around the crater trying to find the trail again. This is where patience comes in. Lots of patience. We're standing, as you can see, down into the crater. We still have a lot of trees to go through because you can't see the lake at the bottom right now. But our guide was just here and he's leaving again. He was gone for 5 minutes looking for a trail, now he's leaving to go find another trail. We never found the trail, so we're hiking out, back up to the crater's edge, but it's very, very steep. Alright, just keep marching until you get exhausted.
We've been lost for about an hour and a half now. We're in the mountains of Alegria and we don't know how to get anywhere.
But it sounds like we've given up on the crater lake and just heading out.
I don't know. Is that what he said?
I don't know. We're headed back up to the top though. That would
I just want to eat.
I know. Alright, let's go. So it's been how long since we've been lost?
2 hours.
And right now he's just taking the machete. We're still lost. He's just taking the machete because we got to an area where you can see all the sticks. It's just impossible to walk through. And he's got a lot of that to hack with. This is not good. We're not enjoying ourselves anymore. Completely lost.
So after 4 hours, we stopped recording. We put the cameras down. There are two reasons we did this. One, we had gotten to the point where we were so frustrated it just wasn't fun anymore, and there just didn't seem like a reason to record. And we had gotten really, really scared. The other reason is that our guide recommended we put them away because there are bandits in the area. Now this wasn't the typical area that we would do the trek down to the lake. We are now lost in a different area where there were bandits. At one point we had reached a road, a dirt road, but something that would take us back to civilization, the next town. I was lagging about 10 meters behind Aracely and the guide. And I look up and glance and they both have these giant rocks in their hand. And I'm getting really pissed at this point. I'm like, why the heck are they carrying big rocks? Are we in this much danger? So I pick up a rock, I'm looking ahead, I'm screaming at Aracely saying, what is going on? Why are we carrying these rocks? Because, you know, she's speaking to the guide in Spanish and I'm not understanding anything and I'm just really frustrated. So it's funny to look back now and realize that the guide was carrying a rock and a machete like that was gonna save us from a bunch of bandits. I don't know what was gonna happen.
It's been a while since we last spoke with you. It's been 7 hours since we started this trip. And for about 6 of that hours, we've been lost in the mountains. Seriously lost, doing some trekking, macheting our way through the woods. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. And we're finally on the road back home. I was almost not making it. I went to the ground a few times because we had ran out of water. We brought no food because they said when we got to our destination there was a tienda restaurant. So we had nothing. We couldn't find anything to eat along the way.
We had just spent all of our energy. I mean, I was entirely exhausted to the point where I was saying, I'm not gonna make it, I'm not gonna make it. Where are we gonna find food for the night? Where are those fruit trees? We need to find shelter. I'm rationing out the water, telling Aracely, we can't drink anymore, we can't drink it anymore. You know, we're just getting on each other's edge.
And we just passed a tienda and we downed a couple sugar drinks and water, but there was no food there. So now we have 2 kilometers till we're home.
Now we never reached the lake that day. But the next morning, we got a new guide and we did the 30-minute casual walk to the lake. And we had a really good time. So in the end, it was just a really wild adventure.
We are in the crater of Volcán in Alegria, El Salvador. And as you can see, in the crater there is a lagoon of sulfur. And there's not so many people in the water because there is a legend that there is a mermaid that lives in this lagoon that she makes young boys drown. So the locals don't ever swim across or anything like that.
No one got hurt. We did lose a water bottle down the cliff. We ripped Aracely's backpack to shreds. And we've got a couple battle wounds, but we're safe. Now I just want to get home. Our guide is high up on a tree, pretty high up, trying to search for power lines so he can find where we're located. We don't want him falling and dying. He's about 10 meters up at this point. Not looking good.